$2,082. That's the average Social Security benefit right now. I want you to sit with that number for a second. Because if you're like most people watching this channel, that number, or something close to it, is what you're planning to retire on. And the honest truth is, in most American cities, it doesn't cover rent. But in some places around the world, it covers everything. Today we're going to look at both sides of that reality. If you appreciate me making this type of content, please tap that like button. Let's get into it. So let's start with something most people don't think about. Social Security was never designed to be your entire retirement income. When the program was created, it was meant to be one leg of a three-legged stool. Social Security, a pension, and personal savings working together. The problem is that pensions have largely disappeared, and a lot of us, and I include myself in this, never built that third leg. So now we're looking at a one-legged stool and wondering why it won't stand up on its own. That's not a personal failure, it's a structural reality that millions of people are facing right now. But understanding what Social Security was designed to do helps us ask a smarter question. The question isn't, is Social Security enough? The question is, enough for what and where? Now let's take a look at the U.S. side of this first, because I think it's important to be honest about what these numbers actually mean in practical terms. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the United States right now is around $1,550. In cities like Fort Lauderdale, Florida, it's $2,270. In Seattle, Washington, $2,100. And Charleston, South Carolina, $1,900. That number climbs significantly higher the larger the city. So if the average Social Security benefit is $2,082 and the average one bedroom runs somewhere between $1,500 and $2,300, you're already in the red before you've bought a single grocery item. Add in food, roughly $275 to $336 per month for a single female eating at home, utilities, transportation, and any out-of-pocket healthcare costs, and you're looking at a monthly budget that Social Security simply wasn't built to cover alone. Not in most American cities, not even close. And here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough: healthcare. Once you retire before 65, you lose employer-sponsored insurance. Medicare doesn't kick in until 65. So if you retire at 62 or 63, you're covering your own health insurance during that gap. And marketplace plans for someone in their early 60s can run $1,000 to $1,500 per month. That alone can consume a significant chunk of a Social Security check. I'm not saying this to discourage you. I'm saying it because I think a lot of people look at their projected Social Security benefit and think, okay, I can work with that, without running the full numbers. Running the full numbers is exactly what this channel is about. So here's the shift I want you to consider. The income is fixed. Social Security pays what it pays. But the cost of living is a variable, and that variable changes dramatically depending on where you live. If you're finding this helpful, the best thing you can do is hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week I'm digging into a new piece of this puzzle. The countries, the costs, the practical details. Check the description and the pinned comment below for helpful resources on this topic as well. Now I'm going to give you just a taste of the other side of this equation because next week's video goes deep on exactly this. But consider this, in some of the most popular expat retirement destinations right now, places like Portugal, Mexico, Colombia, and parts of Southeast Asia, a single person can live comfortably on Social Security. In Braga, Portugal, the cost of living is anywhere between $1,300 and $2,100 per month. In Chiang Mai, Thailand, it's between $800 and $1,300 per month, and in Vulcan, Panama, between $900 and $1,500 a month. These figures come from Numbeo.com. That includes rent, food, transportation, and in many cases, private health insurance that costs a fraction of what it does in the US. Same income, completely different life. That's the math that changed how I'm thinking about this. And I'll be honest, when I first ran those numbers side by side, I got a little emotional because for the first time, retirement didn't feel like something that was going to happen to other people. It felt like something I might actually be able to plan toward. Now I want to speak directly to something for a moment because a lot of the people watching this channel are women planning on a single income. And there are specific things we need to factor in that couples don't always have to think about as carefully. Safety is a real consideration. Solo women research destinations differently than couples do, and that's completely reasonable. The good news is that many of the top expat retirement destinations are genuinely considered safe for solo women, and there are strong expat communities in most of them, which matters a lot when you're building a life somewhere new on your own. Healthcare access on a single income is another one. When there's no partner's income to fall back on, having affordable, reliable healthcare isn't optional. It's the thing that makes everything else possible. And honestly, this is one area where some countries abroad actually have a real advantage. Lower cost private insurance, quality care, and in some cases, public health care options that expats can access. And then there's the practical reality of housing on one income. A couple can split rent. You can't. So the budget math has to be tighter. The country research has to be more specific. And the planning needs to start earlier. All of that is exactly what this channel is for. As for where I am personally right now, I'm in the research phase. I'm running numbers, watching every video I can find, and being honest with myself about what I can and can't afford. I don't have a destination picked yet. I don't have a departure date. But here's one thing I am committed to before I make any move: having a real emergency fund in place. Not just enough to cover a flight, enough to cover several months of unexpected expenses abroad. Because no matter how well you plan, life happens. A medical situation, a housing issue, a flight home for a family emergency. Going into retirement abroad without a financial cushion isn't brave, it's just risky. And this channel is about making smart decisions, not just hopeful ones. Building that cushion while still working full-time is part of my plan, and it'll be part of this channel too. Because the goal isn't just to get out, it's to land well. Because here's what I keep coming back to. The people who figure this out aren't the ones who had the most money or the most certainty. They're the ones who started asking the right questions and didn't stop. So let's keep asking them together. If this video was helpful, let me know by tapping that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this conversation. And next week, we're going deeper on the countries. I'm breaking down where Social Security is actually enough to retire on. Real cost of living numbers, safety considerations for solo women, and what the visa situation actually looks like. You can watch it right here. I'll see you there.